Hello everyone. Once again, I would like to welcome you to my YouTube channel and continuously those that are following, thank you for following, for being together with me to move this so much educative journey together. It is not easy, but thank you, you made it to this milestone with me. Today, still, we shall be going through something else. So let me get the slide so that we can move through it so fast. We are going to basically look at some of the research strategies, so we know what is relevant to research and what is irrelevant to be researched about. So today in this video, we shall be looking at basically the introduction to research strategy. And there we go. We have the learning objectives. By the end of this video, I expect those that are following me to be able to know how to develop a focused research question. How do we set a question for research? We should be able to identify the keywords for effective researching. What specifically are you looking for that you may add that effectiveness to the question and to how you're going to ask the question? In the same way, I expect you to be aware of how to select appropriate database for your topic and how to create systematic research strategies. So here we go. In the definition, we have a research strategy specifically is that plan or method used to systematically find relevant information on a particular topic or research question. That's basically what I can say research strategy is. It is typically involves identifying key concepts, selecting appropriate research items, and determining how to combine those terms to retrieve the most retrieved results for the database or information. So the research process, you have the first thing you should know about the research process, you should know how to plan. In planning, it's where we develop a research question and identify the keywords in the research question. So we have what we call the bad questions, and then we have the good question research questions. For example, one of the bad research questions you can ask something and then you're asking it very generally, like, what is climate change? You get, like, someone is, what is climate? They can give you the view, but how would you see if you ask it in a good way? Like, how does weather affect farmers? Which farmers? So it's better when you take it in this way, you ask a good question to plan it well. How has climate change affected maize farmers in that specific area between that specific period? How do you see that? So we should always learn how to ask for the questions, being more specific in simple terms when we're asking the questions. For some of the characteristics of a good research question, it should have focus. The focus I'm speaking of is you should not ask something generalized. I assume by the time you ask for some question, you already know what you want. So it's always better you ask something very specific other than making it so broad and general. That's the planning. So you have the research process where you identify the keywords, the core concepts before you start asking. Like for the question I asked you, it has all those keys, like the core points. Like the core point was the climate change. The specific word that you want the farmers, it is the maize. Which area has been given in Kenya of the very, and then the specific time period. So you can also go beyond and expand your keywords, like when it's giving back to you the feedback, it will give you the keyword, what it means, and then you ask why you're asking for that one in particular. Basically, like maize farming, like when they are replying to the question we have just asked or researched, they'll give you the main idea specifically is climate change. In what are those to try out, like in global warming, weather patterns, or rainfall changes? It depends. Then the maize farming, is it corn farming, crop production, or agriculture? In the country, Kenya, East Africa, you get like that. So we have to know how to choose your database, start like how to search like more information about it. You get your backup references from Google Scholar, from textbooks, libraries. So you attach your documentary with the what we call the references. Specifically, how to create a research thing by combining the words using commas instead of using words throughout. You can use those commas, they can be of help and good use. How to research and refine. You're researching something, start broad, then narrow. Start with something very small, like, big. There is like want climate change in agriculture, so it is big. Go slowly but slowly as you narrow it, like as I'm narrowing, I'm looking at, yes, it's agriculture, but in what field? In maize. So you're now becoming specific. In what area in particular? Globally, Uganda, Kenya, the Western people, or then they will give you. Then in what specific region of that area? So specifically, that's what I can speak about the strategy. So some of the key takeaways, when you're researching a question, you need to have the keywords. That's the main idea. You need to have a database, that word that matches with the topic. You need to have a search string that is combined with and or, because it's what you're supposed to be using to train these words. You have to refine, add terms to narrow, remove to braided, and then be patient. Research takes practice. One. Thank you so much for viewing, following, and liking. Please, I request for those that are always following me, we continue the spirit. Follow me for more videos. By the time we shall end these videos, you shall be able to know all about this that we are learning about in information literacy. Thank you so much.